Hi, this is Dr. K. Anbukarasi. In this video, I am going to discuss about design of helical gear drive. Helical gears are most commonly used on machineries where the shafts are in parallel positions. Helical gears are resembles as spur gear, but the teeth are cut at an angle rather than the parallel to the shaft axis, as like in the spur gear. Here the helical gear tooth is cut on the referred as the helix angle. The angle of the helix depends upon the condition of the shaft design and the relative position of the shaft. For parallel shaft, the helix angle should not exceed 20 degrees to avoid the excessive end thrust. Helical gear strength. The design features makes the helical gears stronger than the straight tooth spur gear and also decreases the tooth deflection. Here the helical gear tooth design permit an increased surface area of contact. As a result, the engagement of the teeth on a helical gear is smoother than on the straight tooth of the spur gear. So the gear runs quieter and operate effectively at higher pitch line velocities. So the smooth engagement result in a very slight wear. In a straight tooth spur gear, there is a time at each period of contact when the load is concentrated at the upper edge of the tooth. Whereas in the helical gear teeth, the point of contact are at all time and distributed over the entire working surface of the tooth. Therefore, the mean lever arm of the bending action of the load is about half of the height of the tooth. Then, based on the hands of the teeth, the helical teeth cut on the helical gear. For a pair of helical gears located on the shaft that are parallel and to mesh properly, here in the parallel shaft gear, in both driven and the driver, here the driven member, the left hand helical teeth are cut on the gear, whereas in the driver or in the pinion gear, right hand helical gears are cut. Whereas in the crossed shaft helical gears are cut at the same hand. That is, two left hand helical gears are cut over the cross helical gear shaft gears. So these two matting gears determine at what angle the shaft crosses over each other. Then the main disadvantages of the helical gears as compared to the spur gear are the cost factor and the thrust problems. As previously stated, the helical gears provide smooth teeth engagement. The gear runs quieter and possesses more strength. With the one end of the tooth advanced over the other, the tooth engagement takes place progressively. So the line of contact is a diagonal line extending from some point on the faces of the advanced end to a point on the flank of the trailing end. So in the situations, manufacturing of helical gears is more expensive than the manufacturing of spur gear due to the helix angle and because of the greater accuracy required in the helicals to ensure smooth and quiet operations. Then another problem is axial thrust is produced by the helical gears. Therefore, it needs some bearing support. To support the bearings must be used to support the shaft and to accept the thrust load that develop from the helix angle. Thrust directions on the helical gears. The thrust directions on the helical gears is the change of thrust directions on the helical gear drive is based on some factors like the direction of the helix, relative position of the driver and driven gear, and the direction of the rotation. Actually, the thrust may be changed to the opposite direction by changing any one of these three conditions, like the interchanging the driver or the driven gear, reversing the direction of rotation, or changing the direction of the helix will produce a thrust in the opposite direction. This shows the double helical gears. In double helical gears, the opposed helix angle gear tooth manufactured on a hub, in which the evidently spaces separate the two opposed set of teeth. So the double helical gears and herringbone gears are commonly used in parallel shaft transmission as either the speed reducer or increaser. So in double helical gears and matting pinion produces no axial thrust because one helix angle of the gear form counteract the other so that it produces null thrust. Then the two sets of teeth are separated at the center by a narrow gap or accesses for better tooth alignment and to prevent a lubricating oil from being trapped at the apex of the gear. In herringbone gears, here the herringbone gears are similar to double helical gear, but the herringbone gear, in herringbone there is no separate space. So no separate space that opposing the set of teeth. So it is more expensive and difficult to manufacture the herringbone gear to high accuracies. But both the herringbones and double helical gears stand up well for long periods under heavy load conditions. So with this introduction of helical gear, let's see how to solve a problem on the design of helical gear drive. This is the design procedure are same as what we have done in the design of spur gear. Only a few things has been changed. In this problem, a pair of helical gear is to be designed to transmit 30 kW at a pinion speed of 1500 rpm. The relative velocity, the velocity ratio is 3. Then select the suitable material. Determine the dimensions of the gear. First, write down the data as well as in spur gear. Here there is no any data related to whether we go with Acme method or with using the data books. If there is any tensions or related with velocity factors or by using a Lewis equation, means we go for Acme method to solve these problems. But here there is no any data like that. So we go and solve this problem by using the PhD data book. So here the first write the given data. So power P is equal to 30 kilowatt. Pinion speed N1 is 1500 rpm and the velocity ratio I is equal to 3. This is nothing but N1 by N2. As well as in the spur gear, the first step is material selection, which is available at the page number 8.5. So we can select here for both the pinion and gear the same material. So the same, due to the same material, we can have only one sigma C and sigma B. Here the material for both pinion and gear is 15 nickel chromium, 1 molybdenum 15 steel. Here the design sigma C is 950 and designed sigma B is 320 Newton per mm square. Then that second step is minimum center distance. From the PhD data book 8.13, we select the minimum center distance formula for the helical gear. In data book, the formulas available for spur gear as well as helical gears. So we should carefully select the formulas corresponding to the types of the gear drives. So for the helical gear drive, the formula is I plus 1 cube root of 3.7 by sigma C the whole square, Young's modulus, design MTI as well as the same. So here, as in the previous cases, the design twisting moment calculated by using this formula, which is available at page number 8.15. Initially, we assumed K dot KD is equal to 1.3 since a symmetrical system. Then the twisting torque can be found out from the power formula. So then initially assume psi is equal to B by A is equal to 0.5 for the helical gear. Then similarly it's a steel material, so Young's modulus is equal to 2.15 into 10 power 5 Newton per mm square. So by using all these values, let's calculate the center distance. A is equal to 108 mm. That is A is greater than or equal to 108 mm. Then the third step is minimum module. The formula for this is available at page number 8.13a. Similarly, we have to identify all the values. Here, beta is nothing but the half of the helix groove angle. Helix angle. Here YV is nothing but the form factor and psi m is we have to decide and Z1 we have to find out. Assume Z1 is equal to 20. For the helix angle, beta is equal to 20. Here, this is actually a a helical gear. So we just imagine as a imaginary spur gear. So for that we should calculate the virtual number of teeth, that is ZV1. So the ZV1 formula for helical gears, virtual number of teeth for the helical gear is Z1 by cos cube beta. Whereas Z1 we initially assumed as 20. By using this, ZV is equal to 24. So from the PhD data book, page number 8.18, for ZV is equal to 24, X is equal to 0, YV is equal to 0.414. Similarly, psi m is initially assumed as 10. Then by using these values as well as A, here normal modulus M is greater than or equal to 2.33. Then in page number 8.2, we can standardize as Mn normal module is equal to 2.5 mm. Then the next step is number of teeth of pinion and the gear. From the page number 8.22, Z1 equal to 2A cos beta. Mn I of 1. So here we know all the values. By using, we can find out Z1 equal to 22. Now the Z1 is revised from 20 to 22. Then similarly Z2 can be predicted as 66 by using the speed ratio formula. Similarly D1 and D2 we can predict it by using the formula which is available at page number 8.22. Then the corrected center distance. This is also available at page number 8.22. So A is equal to Mn cos beta Z1 plus Z2 by 2. Now the Mn is standardized, Z1, Z2 are revised. So the revised center distance is 117. See, this is actually greater than 108 mm. So the design is safe. Now we go for checking of sigma C and sigma B. For checking of sigma C and sigma C, we should know the phase width value and a revised K and KD value. So for phase width, we know psi is equal to B by A and psi m is equal to B by Mn. By using these two equations, we first find out the B value. So the first one gives the higher value. So we can select higher value of B as 58.5 mm. Then the revised K and KD from page number 8.51, by using the relation B by D1, we can identify K is equal to 1.11 from the table at page number 8.15. Then for KD, first we should find out the velocity, pitch line velocity as 4.31. So for 4.31 and HB is greater than 350 at page number 8.16, we can identify KD is equal to 1.3. Now we revised K dot KD as 1.43. Now the revised designed twisting moment is 273 into 10 power 3 Newton per mm square. Now again we have to calculate the YV. Since Z1 is revised from 20 to 22. So ZV1 for Z1 equal to 20 and X is equal to 0. The revised ZV1 equal to 22 by cos cube 20. So ZV is equal to 26 instead of 24. So YV for 26 and X is equal to 0. It is revised as 0.427 instead of 0.39. Then from page number 8.13, we can take the formula for sigma C and 8.13a for sigma B. From this, by using this formula and by using all the revised variables and known variables, the sigma C can be predicted as 852 Newton per mm square, which is less than designed sigma C, that is 950. Similarly, sigma B is equal to, we are having the formula like this. By using all the variables, the sigma B is predicted as 110 Newton per mm square. This is less than the design sigma B. So the design is safe. By using the page number 8.22, we can predict the other dimensions of the helical gears like pitch circle dia of the pinion, addendum, dedendum, root circle dia and of the pinion and root circle diameter of the gear. So likewise, we should find out all the dimensions of the gear drive and then summarize in a tabular form. Thank you.